If you've never been to war, then you'll never understand it. And if you have been to war, you know that it's not meant to be understood. My grandpa had a simple life. He had a simple house and a simple philosophy. Work, family, and accordions. And because I was the youngest grandkid who also happened to live across the street, I had a simple life too. During the day, I worked for him in his mobile home park. At night, I would practice accordion, and then we would eat a microwave pizza together for dinner. One of the things he enjoyed most was sitting on the porch and just listening to the trains go by in the distance. Me, on the other hand, I was a restless kid, eager to see the world with no interest in sitting on the porch. But I did it anyway, because I knew he wanted me to be there. At the time, I felt like we didn't really have anything to talk about. So rather than filling the silence, I would wait for the silence to end. And after 10 years, it did. That was around the same time I left town. I moved to Chicago to make documentaries, and for the next decade, his house sat untouched. Eventually, it just became a place to store forgotten accordions and a few other things.
It started when we were staying here because we had to stay here for Thanksgiving. And I found that knife in your grandpa's bed. And I was like, what is this place where we're staying?
Sharp, too.
And I went to bed. In the morning, you were like, you gotta see what I found.
By direction of the President, the Silver Star is awarded to the following: Silvio J. Pedri, Sergeant of the 95th Infantry, Company B, 377th Regiment, for gallantry in action against the enemy from November 9th to November 13th, 1944.
He was a hard-working, kind of kept his thoughts to himself.
One of his sayings used to be if he felt like somebody wasn't treating him right or doing something they shouldn't be doing, he would say, you know, I hope I see him out in the hills someday. He was a tough guy. Yep.
Boy, he didn't talk to us that much, I guess, because we were working all the time. He'd show us how to do things, and, you know. He would never tell you what he did or how his day in the mine was or anything like that. Not to us, anyway.
He would never say he loved us. He'd always say, you better. Yeah, because we say, Grandpa, we love you, and he'd shake his fist and say, you better. But when he said, you better, we knew what he meant. Yeah.
When Company B was isolated on the east bank of the Moselle River for 4 days, Sergeant Pedri became so afflicted with immersion foot that he could barely walk. Despite this condition, he refused to be evacuated.
One thing about Grandpa, he never quit caring. And, you know, that's a hard characteristic to find this day and age. I mean, a lot of parents, your kids hit 18, not my problem, not my problem. I mean, he parented my dad up until his last few days.
If we were out all night playing cards or shooting dice, he had us up the next morning working, and we better act like we weren't tired.
He took command of small groups of soldiers where regular commanders had become casualties. With cool, courageous leadership, he welded his scattered troops into fighting squads and imbued them with a spirit that the enemy found unbreakable.
He built a little wall. We had walls all over in the backyard.
At night, when he'd go to bed or lay in bed, he'd have to tell himself, what did I accomplish today? And if he did accomplish something, then he'd feel good about himself. And that was his theory of life, I guess. Yep.